Yo, hip hop, what's good? What's good? Salute to all my hip hop junkies. I'm your host, Deme D. You're on the episode of On Deck with Deme, where we're gonna be saluting a lot of our golden MCs, very experienced, who've been putting in work, who maybe have not gotten the right notoriety, or even if they have, we're just gonna dig into their headspace and see, who they like coming up in hip hop, their journey through the game. So right now I'm here with one of New York City's finest, straight out the BX. Long time vet in the game, MC spitter, battle tested, straight hitting the pavements, not playing games, touching the people. My guy, Mickey Factz.
Y'all don't wanna see this crack, your peers pressured you. I contact your girl to talk. When she's in the view, that's a vision scheme, like Thanos with the Avengers team. I give niggas that grim hoodie feel, your ascension is next. And the Reaper done got booked for real. Beasley paid me to be a hit. Glad I wasn't rushing. Still dreaming, never tan on the black beach. Everything is everything.
So we're gonna start off, man, because you represent the culture and you've been doing it for a long time. I see you on Twitter having discussions about, battle raps and just albums and touching base with the people.
Right.
So I'm gonna start off with this question, man. What does hip hop mean to you since you've been in the game for so long?
Hip hop to me is a way of life. It's a culture, man. I don't know where I would be without hip hop. You know what I'm saying? Like, I dropped out of school for it back in the days. Not encouraging anybody to drop out of school.
Everybody's journey is different though, man.
But yeah, I was going to NYU, and I just was bored. And at the time, I just felt like I needed to turn my hobby into, my career. And that was over 13 years ago. So, I've been living off of music since January 17, 2007.
Salute to that, you know what I'm saying?
But for the most part, you know what I'm saying, I look at hip hop as just like, it just encompasses everything from love to art to fashion, just a way of life, man. Like, everything is hip hop. You know what I'm saying? You see it in the advertisements.
Right.
You see it on television. You see it in movies. You see our influence all over the world. You know what I'm saying? So, like, hip hop is just basically everything in life. You know what I mean?
That's what's up, man. And that's one of the reasons why I want to do this too. Have you on here. I'm thankful you came through again.
Yes, sir.
Because even I gotta check myself. Like, I know about you.
Right. But
it's like when I really look down, like, damn, there's a lot of shit I'm missing. I'm out here.
Right.
So you know what I'm saying? I'm out here. I'm in the culture. You came to one of my people's shows, you held it down, I hosted the show, and it's like, damn, so I miss shit. So I'm like, nah, if I'm missing shit and I'm a junkie.
Right.
So, salute to you, and that's a perfect transition. I want to ask, so at what age, you say you dropped out of high school, but at what age did you start spitting? Like, really start rapping and taking it serious, you'd say?
I wrote my first rhyme at 16, maybe 15.
Okay.
Six Express is the best, player haters is vexed, pull out my text because they play me too close like next. That was like 96, 97.
Okay.
Maybe 98, so like, that was a while. That was like when I was like 16, 17 years old in high school. I went to Stevenson High School.
Okay.
So yeah, just working, like, that's when I fell in love with it. That's when I took it serious. But obviously when I dropped out of school, that's when I made it my life, like for real. Because before that I had jobs, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I worked at law firms, I was a paper boy, I worked at McDonald's, I did all types of jobs.
Those were the hustles back then.
It was the hustles.
Those was the hustles.
And then, I was like, I can't do this no more, man. I'm just grateful that my talent was able to allow me to, be self-sufficient, you know what I mean?
Okay, and I want to speak to that because you said 16. That's kind of a little later on than usual, when people usually start.
Yeah.
And for your skill level to get that nice to start, then like you went, can I say, assume you went super hard, or something that you just writing, or just came so natural?
For me, like, I studied a lot of the MCs that was coming out, who was out at that time. So like, it was Wu-Tang, Biggie, Nas, Big L.
Some of the best.
Cannabis, I was a huge fan of.
Definitely
Busta,
Cannabis.
Eminem, Royce, like, all of those guys was out at that time. So, I just studied and took bits and pieces from everybody, Pun, and I just created this persona, you know what I mean?
Okay. So at what point would you say, like, because like I said, the skill level is I gotta salute that. The skill level.
Thank you.
And you can tell you put in work. At what point did you feel like, nah, I'm good enough though? Like,
Look, dog, I'm a marketing genius. My real name, Marcus, remarkable. Peep it, black marker in the boardroom. Solving the thinking. I cornered the black market with the mark of a phoenix. Fire.
was it straight from the jump?
Nah, I mean, you know, like I mean, it's gradual. So like, at first, you know, when you start, you just kind of just doing it to do it, and then obviously everything turns into competition. So like in school,
Especially out here.
in school we was battling, so I became like the best in the school. I was so nice in school that, you know, I rhymed on the loudspeaker. Like they had me rhyme on the loudspeaker.
Nice,
Like, that's how nice I was in school.
Nice.
Then you know, I had got an offer for a record deal in school. Columbia offered me a record deal in 2000. Then 3 years later, Missy Elliott wanted to sign me in 2003 to Elektra Records.
I do remember that.
Then after that, like I went to school, and then, you know, I'm just continuously refining my skills. But then when I really, because at that time, like I felt like I was nice in the borough, I was nice in my school, I was nice in my borough, I was nice on my block. But
Yeah,
then you
all
started to
points.
see, then I had to go to Harlem and meet all of these MCs, and then I went to Brooklyn. So like I just kind of went all through the city.
I got you. That was the way then.
Right. And then, you know, like then it just turned into like how good are you for real? And then that's when there was this show called Mad Ciphers. I was living in Harlem at the time. I had my own apartment at 19 years old. I was living in this is just ridiculous. I had my own apartment, but there was this show called Mad Ciphers that only came on in Manhattan. And I would see Jay Mills on there. I would see J.R. Ryder on there, J Hood, and I would always say,
around then too, JR?
Yeah.
Okay.
so I would always say, yo, I'm just as good as these guys. I need to get on this show. And once I got on that show, like they was like, yo, he's one of the best that's ever came on to the show. And it was a bunch of guys that we know now today that was on that show. And that's when I knew, I was like, all right, I'm nice. And that was 2005.
Dope. So I mean that pretty much answers my next question. I was gonna ask like, what's your entry point? Because some people, you know, the game changed and it was online. We come from the please listen to my demo tape era.
Right.
But pretty much you went the route. You went through the block. You went through the school. You went through the battles. So that's what's up, man.
Yeah.
Like we said, we're talking about you getting into the game, but paint a picture for NYC. Like you said, you went to a show that had all those guys.
Right.
Everybody raps now. It's getting to that point. Everyone thinks they can rap. So
Right.
try to paint a picture for the people of how hard it was. Because you breezed through it. You named the deals, but it's like, did it come swiftly or was it?
Nah, it was a lot of hard work. And back then, you know, it wasn't like how it is now. Like, if a door shut on you, like that Columbia situation, I didn't do the deal because my parents didn't want me to sign any contracts. Well, when you're underneath the age of 18, right. When you're underneath the age of 18, you have to have a legal guardian signed, right? So that didn't go down. Then when Elektra came around, I was in a group. It was me and my guy Yada Bars, shout out to Yada Bars, and there was some discrepancies within the group, so I didn't sign with Elektra, right? So that door was closed. So once a door is closed, like back in those days,
No, please let them know because they don't understand that.
like once a door is closed back in those days, there's no such thing as a second chance, right? Then, you know, I'm working now. So I'm working at a law firm. And I never had the thought process to pay to get on a mixtape. So at that time, in the streets, it was K Slave, Flex, Clue, Cutmaster C. All of these guys had tapes. And artists would pay to get on the tapes, but then the artist would be like number 25 to get on the tape.
Right.
So sometimes you just, you know, you would never hear that artist. Like I know when I bought tapes, I would never get that far down.
Yeah.
So for me, really, like I just I put all my music online. And once I did that, that's when everything changed. Like everything just shifted from that point forward. I changed my name from Renegade to Mickey Factz, and then it was basically
so the
a
online did
layup.
play a part in it, but you hit every hustle pretty much.
Yeah, I
That's
hit every
probably
hustle.
goes just
I
like-
even interned at Def Jam and Loud. Like,
Okay.
yeah, like I I even interned. Like I worked the Foxy Brown China Doll album.
I was just talking about that the other day.
Yeah, I worked that album. I worked, and then on the loud side, I worked Capital Punishment. I worked, I think there was a Mobb Deep album that came out. It might have been Murder Music.
Murder Music.
Murder
probably
Music.
say Murder Music or Infamy.
It was like 9. It was like 9/8. So that was probably Murder Music. You know what I'm saying? So like, you know, I'm embedded and indebted to hip hop forever. You know what I'm saying?
Salute though, man. Salute to that journey too, man. And
Yes,
I hope
sir.
people appreciate that and can understand that it doesn't always. It may seem like it just took off overnight, but just appreciate that journey, man. And
Right.
hip hop appreciate you because you know treated it right.
Right.
So I want to ask too. We want to touch what came first though, the mixtapes or making the albums and.
So
far
like
as-
we never like people called what we did mixtapes, but they never felt like mixtapes because we never put DJs on them and they were real
Right.
songs. They
Right,
weren't just
right.
like freestyles. So you know we called them albums. You know what I'm saying? Like my first project was In Search of the NERD, where I sampled all NERD beats, and I put that online. And when that went up online, it wasn't just the music. It was the fashion too. So I had the military fours, blue military fours that came out before, you know, anybody had them. I had them like 2 months before. So that helped.
Yeah.
You know, it was
Sneaker
like
game.
it was the sneaker game, and this guy's rapping over NERD. You know, and he had this, you know, blue and black checkerboard Biggie hoodie. You know what I'm saying? It was just everything that went along with it. And then I had the Dwayne Wayne flip ups. This was 2006.
Them shits was listen.
Right.
It was classic. Those
So-
is good. If you don't know about the D ways, man.
So like I did that, and that kind of just whoosh. And then you know the next project was I rapped over all old school beats called the Flashback, but you know we flipped the beats and made them sound like you know the future kind of. So by doing that, and then wearing the sneakers again, I had the gold Supers on before anybody had them out. Like I just was my stylist at the time. He was styling for Chris Brown and BT. So like I was getting clothes early.
I do remember that
You know
though.
what I'm
I do
saying?
remember
So, like-
you had the jackets too and shit. I remember.
Yeah. So I was getting fly along with putting out music that guys wasn't doing. Now, mind you, at this time in New York City, there's an underground movement of hip hop artists that are getting a lot of love from the radio, like Joel Ortiz,
Yeah, you had a lot of let's bring them down.
Papoose, Mano, like
Murder was Murder around? Uncle Murder was
Uncle
around?
Murder was around. Yep. So like this was, so I was like the, you know, I was like the other guy. It was like I'm this other guy that's making noise with these great MCs. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? And I stood out from them. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, man, it was just a beautiful thing to for me to kind of go through with these projects that I put out.
And hearing your journey, man, it just sounds like it was just prepping you and building you for this long run that you put in.
It's definitely a marathon. Definitely a marathon.
I see, but so you mentioned that you did when you did the show that had J Mills and all them. Were y'all battling? Y'all just spitting?
No, it was just like we were spitting in front of a camera.
Okay, like the showcase
Like
thing. Like,
yeah,
okay.
and then they would just edit it and then put it on television.
So at what point did you want to get into the battles? Because you were in the battle scene, like not just standing on the block, like you were in the
Well, back in the days, like that's what we did to get on. It was a
Right.
different, you know, scenario, and just to get your name out there. Your name was buzzing in the streets through battling, and you know, labels would look for you and look towards you to, you know, see your skill set and take you in the studio. So I did my last battle around that time, around 2006. I was like, all right, I'm not gonna battle no more. And I didn't battle from 2006 up until like 2013. I jumped back in. I did 3 of them. You know what I'm saying? I did 3 battles, and you know, I just wanted to kind of, you know, see how the game had changed from when I was doing it and to how it's done now.
I see a couple of people jump back in the game.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. Like I said, I'm casual with the battle, but I do remember a lot of the big gunners kind of fell off. But I definitely know that you have a big staple in there, and you on point with who's out now and who's talking about it. And I mean, see you mess with my man 3. So
Yeah.
so I was gonna say you in the culture, man. You definitely in the culture from
Absolutely.
many different. You mentioned the sneakers, many different aspects.
Yes, sir.
So which one would you say gives you more creative range, doing the mixtape or when you were doing like a round? Because I know with battling there's like no fucking format, but I know with mixtapes it's not really. I mean, you gotta make a hook and shit.
Right. I mean, more creative definitely for projects. I mean, battling is just you're attacking an opponent.
Okay.
And when you're attacking the opponent, it's just the crowd knows what they want to hear. They want to hear you disrespecting them. They want to hear violence.
I got
That's
you.
very, you know,
Kind of one-sided.
right.
Got you,
With
got
music, I'm able to talk about politics. I'm able to talk about love. I'm able to talk about fashion. I'm able to talk about, you know, what I'm going through in my life, depression, getting money, losing money, like religion, like it's not even comparable if you ask me. You know what I'm saying?
I feel you. And on you're right, because your singles from the Achievement, I forget the title, escaped me, guys, excuse me, but it wasn't no, it was some topics, some serious shit.
Yeah, 414 words.
Right, that's the one. You
So-
know what I'm talking about.
That was the first single off the album.
Oh, that was the first one.
That was the first single off that album. The
Oh, okay,
Achievement.
I was up on the other one first.
So that was, you know, first of all, the song has 414 words exactly.
Nice.
And, you know, I'm just touching on what I'm going through at that time, which was 2016. That was my debut album. And, you know, it was a great project for me, you know what I'm saying? And Knots produced the whole thing and it went hard. And the second single on that, I believe, was I'm Good, you know what I'm saying?
But, yeah,
So,
okay, so I missed the first one, then
Yeah.
I got on that one. So that's a perfect segue because that's what I want to get into next. You mentioned your mixtape and NERD.
Mm-hmm.
That's 2006, and we jumped to your debut.
in 2016.
So that's a long journey. So
10 years.
that's 10 years. At this point, like, what do you think? Are you thinking like, damn, I gotta get my album out, or if it's coming out, are you just focusing on? Because you got a lot of mixtapes too. So you just focusing on music during this time, or you like it's in your mind?
Nah, every year I was trying to put this album out. It was the same album, The Achievement. I was trying to get that out end of 2008, 2009, 2010, 2011,
Damn,
2012.
you hear that?
You know, and there's so many different iterations of that album.
I could
So
imagine.
like 2009 had Cudi on the album. You know what I'm saying? 2010 had Marsha Ambrosia on the album. And Fat Joe on the album. 2011 had John Legend on the album. B.O.B. 2012 had Bruno Mars on the album. 2013 had Yellow Wolf on the album. So I kept changing it up and switching it up and getting new features and getting, you know, more people, you know, added to the project. But, you know, things happened where, you know, it took longer than expected. I was on different labels at the time, so it was difficult for them to push the button to get things out.
That's the time of the labels too. Heavy hold still.
Yeah, so it was a little difficult, but you know, we persevere. It's a marathon, and what matters is I got it out. You know what I'm saying?
I'm down.
Word.
I'm down. And so yeah, I want to touch on what you mentioned about switching the features too,
Right.
because it's like it's, you know, it's the game, right? It's the game. It's different aspects. There's features that this guy makes good music. I fuck with him. And then there's features like you mentioned. It's like, okay, they nice, but this is a good time to do work with them too. So it's like a feature from 2011 might not hit the same in 2015, right?
Right.
So, and you also touched on you was pretty much happy with the debut though when it dropped.
Oh yeah,
Happy
definitely.
It's fire too, by the way. It's definitely
Thank you.
fire.
Charted number 9 on iTunes. You know, it was a beautiful thing to see my music being recognized in that manner.
I know that's a good feeling.
You know, working with Styles P on that project, Fonte from Lil Brother,
Right.
Blue from the West Coast.
Yeah, that won't call me a little surprised though, but he is a lyricist though.
Yeah. Currency on the project, Smoke
Oh,
Dizza,
yeah.
Mac Wilds. You know, so like I worked with some heavy hitters on that, man. I'm just happy that I held my own on those songs with these titans, you know.
Yeah, you had some good collabs, some good features on there. And what made you go? Because you kind of took it back. One producer, and especially Knots, who slept on.
Yeah.
What made you just do one producer and why Knots?
I was on Instagram one day and I saw him post a post about different artists that he was putting out projects with, like EPs and albums, and I was like, that's crazy. I need to be a part of that. So I DM'd him like, yo, I need to be a part. And he was like, all right. He sent me beats. And then we took it from there. At first it was an EP. And then the music just kept sounding greater and greater and greater. So I was like, let's just make it an album. And to this day, I think...
Isn't that a good feeling?
Yeah, and I think to this day, it's only me and Bumpy Knuckles, I think, who actually put out, you know, joint albums. Oh, maybe Asher Roth, too, and Blue. But aside from us, like, he had a bunch of people that he was working with. And I think I was one of those guys that got it done the quickest.
Okay, respect. And I don't want to brush over how that happened, too. I want the people to understand you reached out to him.
I definitely reached out to him.
Right? There's no ego. There's no time to be fronting. Gotta make shit happen, man. Or it's not, even if it's not about ego, don't sit on your ass.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So that's good to hear, and I'm glad to hear that story, because I was wondering about that.
Yeah.
So I want to jump into what I feel like every MC feels like. Like, do you feel your lyricism is appreciated? Because I feel like every MC feel like they slept on to a certain extent.
For a long time, I did not feel that way. I just now recently just kind of got over that need for validation.
Okay.
But from 2014 to about 2019, early 2019, like, I had it in my mind that I wanted to be a part of this lyricist conversation.
Why not?
And I got added to that conversation by the freestyles I had put out. I had did 2 battles in that time frame, and you know, the projects I was releasing and the features that I was doing and holding my own with top tier lyricists. People were like, okay, we have to respect Mickey's pen, you know, because at this point, you know, he's going crazy with guys that are really good, you know. So,
And the consistency. And again, I have to check myself, and there's other people like me as well who love the game, and we just missing it. So this is another reason why, you know, I want to have you on Deck with Deme, because I hear a lot of talk, and you know, because you're on Twitter heavy.
right.
You hear the talk about, oh, New York ain't got the spitters for this long, or they sound like this and they sound like that.
Right.
But then it's like, Factz been here.
Yes.
Dizza been here.
Yes.
Bodega Bam's been here. So
Yeah.
it's like, that shit irks me, man. But I shout out all y'all guys and appreciate y'all.
Right,
Let the people know what you're working on right now.
I got I'm working on like 4 or 5 projects currently right now. So I got a EP that should be dropping hopefully in another 6 weeks. It's called Hugo, which is Spanish for juice.
Okay.
And it's a part of a group that I created with my guy Fly D'Antoni, Black Dahlia. That's the name of our group, and that's it allows me to be as ratchet as I want to be. So, you know, shout out to that. I got another project with this guy, mentor. His name is Jared Michaels, and that should be coming out like in October. It's called Guidance.
Okay. Sure.
I got a joint project with Blue,
Okay.
produced by Knots. That should be out before the year is up.
That sound dope.
You know what I'm saying? That's gonna be dope.
Yeah.
And then I got 2 solo projects I'm working on. One is called I'm not even gonna let that one out the bag yet. That's a special.
Hey, you already giving a lot of exclusives already.
Right. And the sophomore album, One Above All, that should be out, God willing, next summer, and then Mouse too. So that's actually 6 projects.
Okay, that's how you got to do it now. You see everybody dropping shit left and right.
Yeah.
So I mean, do you have the producers in mind already? Or
Yeah.
just
So like
okay,
I got
okay.
stuff from Knots, obviously. Bink. I got a joint with Bink.
Another slept on guy, man.
Yeah, I got a joint with Bink, Black Thought, Rick Ross, and Jasmine Sullivan.
Ooh,
You know what I'm
okay.
saying? That's one record, one full record.
Oh,
you know what
and
I'm saying?
to have him do it, that's dope.
Yeah. Shout out to Key Wayne. Key Wayne got some stuff produced.
Okay, that's
on
another
there.
side. I'm familiar with his shit, mainly with Big Sean.
Big
But
Sean.
but I know he got some shit too, though.
FKI first. That he produced some stuff for 2 Chainz.
Okay. Yeah, Chainz got that sound too.
You know, so just I'm just going all across the
You
board.
working, man. You
I'm
working.
I'm working.
And I see you working with others that work and appreciate the game too. So it only could come out to good things.
That's how it's supposed to be.
Word up. So with the game though, man, you've been in it for a long time. This answer might have changed throughout the years.
Right.
But because you're a professional MC, meaning like you said, you're making a living off this. You've been doing it. What's your favorite aspect? Is it the performing or is it the recording?
Recording.
The recording.
Yeah, man. Just to hear what you wrote down after recording it is unbelievable. There's no feeling in the world like it, man. I remember recording back in the days, and then they give you the CD, and then you pop the CD in the CD player, and you just listen on your way home on a bus or on the train. And now I just, nowadays you put it on your phone and plug it up into the car, and then you drive away. Same thing, same feeling. I do enjoy performing.
It's not to.
Yeah.
Not that, but
I love performing, but it doesn't, because I haven't performed in a while because of COVID, like, I can still record. And so my love for recording will never stop.
No doubt, man. And now, it's fun. It's a good segue too, because I wanted to ask: is there a song that took you? Because that's another thing. I know when it comes from your mind to the track, is there a song that took you like forever to finish?
Oh yeah, tons and tons of records.
Was it more so like trying to catch the beat, trying to catch a concept, or
concepts, beats,
every different all aspects?
Writer's block.
Hook ain't cutting it.
Hook ain't working. I've had tons of those.
Got a lot of music, so
yeah, it's hard to kind of pinpoint that one record that gave me the most fits, but I will say, it's happened.
Not because some of these like, 2 seconds every song was 2 seconds.
That's when I do features, I can knock those out in 5-10 minutes. Like I wrote a feature the other day in like 6 minutes. Like homie sent me the joint. I was in the studio already. He sent it at like 9:20, but I was already recording 2 other records. So at like 9:45, I started writing the verse, and then it was recorded, and everything was done at 9:52.
Nice.
So it was a 7-minute, situation.
Sometimes when that beat comes to it,
you just flow.
Yeah, sometimes just spark that. So I want this one right here. I know the Twitter crowd, because I'm on Twitter heavy, and I know they're gonna want these answers. I'm interested myself.
Okay.
I want to know, what are your top 5 debut albums? We're talking rap, of course, but your top 5. And not even, we're not talking about the best. We're talking about
my top 5.
The shit you like, or just 5 of them. Your top 5.
Ready to Die Big.
Woo.
We starting it off hard.
Word up, B.I. fucking G.
Enter the 36 Chambers, Wu-Tang.
Gotta have a dub in there.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, take your time on
this.
Yeah,
this is a great question. This is a great question.
Because there's so many. I know you're a hip hop junkie.
Yeah,
but
yeah. Now this is an incredible question. I would say a debut, fire debut.
We got Wu, we got Biggie,
Illmatic, Doggy Style. Yeah, so Illmatic, Doggy Style, Ready to Die.
Wu, we got one more.
I would say,
you can hit him with a left field one if you want.
For me, I personally, my 5th choice would be between what's Kendrick's, this is the name of his first album?
Technically that's Section 80 is his debut. People try to fight it, but that's a studio album right there.
Oh, so if
he's gonna go with Good Kid?
I would say it's between Good Kid and Food and Liquor.
Go with Food and Liquor then, because that's like an official. That's Lupe.
Lupe.
So that's a dope 5 right there, man.
Food and Liquor.
Word up. That's a dope 5. Hip hop, there you have it. Mickey Factz, top 5 debut albums. I'm sure if I had him on here again, 2 might be different.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, I said, but thank you for having my guy.
Absolutely.
On Deck Wit Deme. Hip Hop Tune In. Follow him on Twitter. Matter of fact, plug all your endeavors. So
Follow me on Twitter, Mickey Factz, MickeyFactz. On Instagram, it's Instagram. What is it? Mickey.Factz, pardon me. And on Facebook, it's official Mickey Factz.
There you go, man. I'm Deme D, Mr. Everywhere, You Never There. We out on the BX. You already know.
Smicky.
Chill.